Yesterday night, one of my clanmates asked me a question.
Yo Fritz, I got a question. What up bro? How do you count Elixir in a match?
Elixir counting is a subject many YouTubers have mentioned, but I never see them actually follow through with a guide on how to count your opponent's Elixir. I want to preface this by saying that counting your opponent's Elixir perfectly the entire match takes hundreds of games of practice, but I'm going to share multiple tips with you in this video for how you can practice this and how you can figure out your opponent's Elixir again when you inevitably lose track. Make sure to like the video if you learned something. Let's start with the basics. Try to follow your opponent's Elixir throughout the replay. At the start of the battle, you will load in with 7 Elixir. Typically, both opponents will wait until 10 Elixir to make a move. Once your opponent plays a card in the back, you need to subtract 10 minus the cost of that card at the start of the game. Let's say the opponent drops recruits in the back at 10. This leaves him with 3 Elixir. Now, assuming you also respond at 10, for every Elixir you gain, your opponent also gains an Elixir. You respond with a bowler in the back left, leaving you with 5 Elixir. You are currently up 2. However, this brings us to our first big misconception. Just because you have 2 more Elixir in your Elixir bar than the opponent does not mean you are actually up 2 Elixir. You might be asking, why is that? Well, let me explain. The bowler will only account for the left half of the recruits your opponent split. So in this case, it would account for approximately 3.5 Elixir. This leaves a remaining 3.5 Elixir that you will be forced to respond to. So in reality, your opponent would be up 1.5 Elixir since you were at 5. Once again, the opponent is technically down in his Elixir bar, but you are currently down considering what you will have to respond to. However, your opponent will also have to respond to what you play, so let's continue. Currently, you have 8 Elixir in the bar and 5 Elixir on the board. Your opponent has 6 Elixir in the bar and 7 on the board. You drop your little prince on the right and get ready to pop the ability for anything the opponent plays behind. Bad wall breakers and goblins. At this exact moment in time, your opponent only has 2 Elixir. You pop ability, cleaning up the right side. Currently, you have
5
Elixir remaining and 11 Elixir on the board. After that nice defense, your opponent is left with 3 and will soon have 0 on the board. You are currently up 8 Elixir, but you cannot capitalize at this moment. Instead, be patient and wait for your opponent to be forced to defend. He plays a flying machine at 4, so at this exact moment, he has 0 Elixir. Now is when you need to really keep track. To capitalize on your +4 advantage, you E-Giant into the flying machine at 7. The opponent is forced to play Zappies at 4, but you already have your tornado hovered. Now, you have your opponent in trouble. Obviously, doing this all game can be exhausting and almost impossible, so I have a very helpful trick I'm going to show you to figure out exactly how much Elixir you are up when you lose track. After playing this game a lot, you probably have a good feeling when you were up Elixir, but you don't know exactly how much. The trick I want to show you is this. If you know you were up but don't know how much, start counting as soon as you play something at 10. For every Elixir you gain before he responds, you are up 1. Say you drop a golem in the back at 10. Let's figure out how much Elixir you're up. 1, 2. So since he dropped a bowler once you hit 4 Elixir, you currently have a 2 Elixir lead. Let's do another example. You drop a goblin giant in the back on 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're up 4 Elixir. You should make sure you capitalize on this push. Obviously, this guide isn't going to have you instantly jumping into games knowing how much Elixir your opponent has at all times, but this does give you a way to practice it and a way to figure it out if you lose track. Now, let's jump into a live commentary game where I both count Elixir and figure it out again when I lose track. Alright, jumping into a game against Loopy, and let's do some Elixir counting here. So, obviously at 10, I'm going to drop something. He drops a knight, so we know he's at 7, just like me. So it's really easy to compare your Elixir to theirs, so I'm going to drop something here. I'm going to drop my bowler. He just leaked 1. Okay. He's going to go with the baby dragon right there. So we know we're up about 2 Elixir because of what we have on the field. So let's go in here. I'm gonna rage on this. It looks like we're playing against graveyards, so I want to make it very clear, the only time you really want to be tracking Elixir in a game is single Elixir, because once you get into double, triple Elixir, it really doesn't matter, especially triple Elixir. Like with triple Elixir, you would never really want to drop an Elixir pump, because at that point, the Elixir lead is pretty much irrelevant just because it's going so fast. So the only time this is really effective is single Elixir. So we're going to drop this here. We're up, what, we're up 3 Elixir now? Let's see. As soon as he responds, we're up quite a bit of Elixir. We're going to go in here. I don't know exactly how much, but that's what I'm talking about. You have a feeling. Once you play this game enough, you have a feeling. You know when you're up Elixir. So let's rage here. This could be trouble for him because Bowler's going to take that out and reset the Little Prince. No, not quite. Okay, so he played that at 0. So we're up about 4 Elixir on this guy right now. He's at about 3 Elixir, so he could go for the ability, but it's probably not the best play. He's at 4 now. He goes for the ability, so he's at 2 Elixir, 3. He's at 4 now, but I do have to go for that, so I'm only up 2. And see, now we're going into double Elixir, so it's nice to know during single Elixir. Obviously, it helps a little bit. Sometimes it's better than others. Sometimes it's very, very clear when you're up a lot of Elixir and you can just go in and take their entire tower, but looks like this guy's going to try and go in. This is not going to do much. I guess it is going to kind of stop me from getting a crazy push, but he's not going to get any damage. He's actually going to maybe be in trouble with this Bowler at the bridge. He has to go for the Tornado, but Bowler's still going to knock that back. We're going to go Goblin Giant plus Goblins plus Rage, and I think, yeah, that's on tower. He lost. Alright, so that's how you do it, y'all. Let's just play defense for this last 15 seconds, and there's not much he can do. We can block the bridge over here, because I assume he's going to go in, but we're not going to let him. We can block the bridge over here, too, and yeah, he's going to poison my King Tower, so hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit. Anyways, hopefully that helps some of you guys out. Remember that the key is to remember to account for the cards that are already on the field. It's very rare that you'll know exactly how much you're up, but if you try your best to keep up on it, you'll stop yourself from going in when you aren't actually up, and you'll be able to capitalize on your push better when you are. I want y'all to hop into your next 10 games using the tips I gave you in this video, and I can almost guarantee that you will see some improvement in your gameplay. Anyways, if you learned something, make sure to leave a like and comment on the video for the YouTube algorithm, and if you aren't already, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.